Hello friends, we're back. It's been a week and it's time to start feeding the worms. We're in officially the year 2 marker of how long I've had this hot frog for. So we just hit the 1 year marker. So we completed 1 year, so we're not quite at 2 years. I got excited. You know what I meant. So we're gonna feed our many worms and see how they're doing. If you missed last week's, no worries. All we did was we fed two tiers, the two bigger tiers, just frozen food in I don't know, probably like 6 inch by 6 inch, and then little size containers that had like macaroons in them or dates or something, and I had just frozen it. This week's menu includes watermelon, mostly because I need to get it out of my freezer, and I just cut this one up. And then I have more older tea bags that have gone awry. Got paper ready to go, used paper towels. So we're gonna get right into it. So like always, I like to take the top 2 layers down. And we're just gonna put this one off to this side. We'll come back to this one. So this is tier 2, which did not get fed last week because it's a newer tier, doesn't have as many worms on it in it, I suppose. And it's also a test bin, sort of, in the sense that it doesn't have any coconut coir specifically added to it. There do seem to be a lot of worms over here, though. Alright, we did add a lot of bedding for a couple different reasons. Oops. Sorry, little dude. No. One, because this is the most bottom size part of the tower, so we knew a lot of the food is going to be making its way down here, or not the food, the water. And 2, we just want to make sure we don't have any bug problems building up. So our old tea bag over here is still there, but we'll let another one in just for good measure. Maybe over here. And since I don't see any, I see a decent amount of worms, but I don't see any food scraps specifically, we're going to add some watermelon, I think, in this corner right here. And we have a smaller, I don't know if it's actually smaller. We have watermelon rinds here that are mostly defrosted, still pretty frozen, and I'm just going to pour some of the juices. Water. Yep, not much. Alright, perfect. Easy peasy. And then, like normal, I'm going to try and add some paper towels just immediately to it to help absorb some of the moisture, help cover it up. And then I'll continue just covering it with a little bit of the existing bedding. There's already a lot of bedding in here, so I'm probably not going to add more, except for in the immediate area. And then I would like to not be able to see the paper towel, just so I know it's super safe. So yeah, 1 tier done. It's pretty good. Let's see. Tier 4. These guys definitely got fed, and they got bedding last week as well. So we'll see how they're doing. I'll bring you guys in. I'm assuming, also it's kind of easy to tell, but if you guys can see, it's higher up here, it's lower here, which means there was food here that they've been working away on. And there are paper towels here, so we know that's where I fed. Now I don't see any food. I see the paper towels. Alright, let's see back here. There's paper towels here. Maybe there's some food left here. I see part of an avocado skin. Wow, they ate all their food? Oh, what good baby worms. Okay, good job, worms. Alright, well then, we'll find a spot over here. They're working real good in this tier. I just want to make sure there's no food. Yeah, this is just a random avocado shell. Okay, good. It's looking real good in here, you guys. All right, I think I'm gonna do something crazy and just put it in the middle. I don't think I've done a feeding in the middle for a long time, so we'll get them in here. And then this is a pretty decent size bag. Easy peasy. Same as the other one, nothing crazy. This watermelon's pretty straightforward. We just want to be mindful of the sugar content and attracting potentially ants and whatnot, so that's why we're trying to cover it. Thankfully, I've never had ants in my bin. I've had mites and gnats and probably other things I don't even know about, but there's enough bedding in here from last week, or I don't think I need to add more, so that's easy. This might be one of the quickest feedings ever. All right, and then we'll continue checking on our tiers. And then this tier 3, oh, forgot to throw a tea bag in. I'll throw a random tea bag here. Boop, look. All right, so this is tier 3. Same as the other feeding. We'll check where paper towels are. That's usually our surefire way. There's a lot of worms in here, huh? All right, actually, over here I don't see too many, so maybe I didn't feed over here. Maybe they're leaving on their own accord, I don't know. Oh, there's paper towel back here. Maybe this is where they fed. Ooh. Yep, can you see that in there? Worm party. Ugh. Let me close the blinds. There we go. A lot of worms in here, which is great. Ooh, big old worm party down here. All right, you guys do your thing. Don't let me interrupt. Okay. Just trying to find a spot that's like, I don't want to say empty, but not as populated. So they have to, one, kind of work their way over, but two, I don't want to put cold watermelon on anybody and freeze them. But that's so exciting. There's such a big worm party going on. Now this is possibly the largest bag of watermelon that I have, or the fullest. I mean, they're all sandwich bags, but just variations on how full each bag was. So I did that on purpose though, and I say that for this tier because I believe this is the oldest active tier, and I think they can handle it. And I will take some of the bedding and cover it up. And I did disrupt quite a bit in here today. So even though I added some bedding last week, I'm just gonna toss a little bit more in here just for good measure, because watermelon is very juicy. And the last thing I want is bugs, or unwelcome bugs, let's put it that way. So they're doing great, really pleased with them. And so I'm going to bring our top tier, which has been migrating, bring him over. But before we open it up, I'll show you guys the renter check, the renter mess check, I suppose. So we got the same tiny little blobs of castings. That's the only mess that we made. So if you're a renter like me, you're worried about making a mess with this, don't be. Oops, of course I dropped it. So this tier has been quote unquote starving for probably too long now, but with us having that tropical storm Elsa and just a lot of rain in general, I have not bothered taking the cover off of this because there hasn't been as much daylight. But I'm looking around in here. You guys can see I saw the one worm at the top of the pile there. There's one, maybe one here, one there. Not really a lot of worms in here. So I'm thinking most of them have left for greener pastures. and hopefully are attracted to some of the food down below. Are you even alive? I'm not sure if he's alive. This one's alive. Maybe just scared. We'll move him. So, like I said in the past video, there's nothing urgently that I need these castings for in my garden right now. So I'm just kind of letting this finish off a little bit, and then, you know, pulling a couple out at a time that are left. There's not really a lot of them left. I am considering taking this casting, handpicking, sorting it, you know, sifting it like you do, and then I'm thinking about doing a, I guess, part 2, but continuation of like what we have going on in this bottom tier that we talked about. That is a new tier that was started without coconut core. And I'm thinking if I do the same thing and I restart this tier here, I can split these really active tiers and get a really good group started in here. And so it'll slow down production potentially on one or both of these, depending on how many worms I take out of here. But it'll help increase the population, which will help increase the consumption, because I'm still not able to consume, or they're not able to consume all of the food that we're generating right now, or all the waste that we're generating right now. So it's definitely something I'm thinking about doing. I also thought about doing a slow harvest, which I might still do. I can, I guess. So what I mean by that is just taking, like, you know, a couple minutes, not that it takes a long time to hand sift this or whatever, but take a little bit out at a time, throw it in my storage for my vermicompost, my black gold, and then, you know, do a handful here, a handful there, so it's not too much all at once. We'll see where, you know, life takes us, and if we have time for that. It's getting to the point where I don't see a lot of worms in here. I haven't really looked a lot, but I don't see a lot of cocoons either. So cocoons are the words we're looking for. But it feels beautiful. So I know there's some great castings in here. I'll show you guys. Really great stuff. I can tell it's good quality. Oh, hey, worm. Okay, well, just to prove me wrong, here's a worm and a little baby cocoon. If you guys aren't familiar with the cocoons, I don't know if you can see it right there. It looks like a little cherry tomato seed, like in the tomatoes. So that's good. We'll just toss those down below. But the eggs or cocoons, whatever you guys want to call them, those are always the ones that I hate, just like tossing into my storage, because what if they hatch? You know, like those are eggs that are future worms, or mini worms, depending on how many worms are potentially in that egg. So yeah, okay, we're gonna move these guys real quick. We gotta stop. So that's what's on the horizon for us. I'm not saying it's my first time splitting a bin, because I did definitely take some worms out of the other tiers to start tier 2, but I think it'll be the first split done with that level of intention, if that makes sense. So we'll see how much time I have this week, but I'm thinking we'll probably do that. I don't want to say in lieu of a feeding, but I'm not sure how to time it just yet. I'm gonna think that through a little bit more. Do I want to split them when they get a fresh feeding? Do I want to split them, not feed them, and then give them a couple days and then feed them? You know, these are pretty similar layers, so we'll see. Like I said, where next week takes us. But that's it, guys. That's our quick check-in. Thanks so much for watching, and if you're new to vermicomposting or composting with worms and you want some tips, I just uploaded a video that talks about all of my top tips that I wish I knew before I started, and I think you will find them helpful, whether you use a hot frog like me or you have a different setup. Most of those tips work on anybody's setup, so check that out if you need more information. Alright guys, see you next week.